Bitcoin's cryptic nature. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. The reason behind it being crypto is the uses of public infrastructure. And coming to its anonymity in Bitcoin, each participant on a Bitcoin network is identified by its public key. No one ever know in reality who they are dealing with. So it's a major hit with criminals. Coming to its working principle, uh, Bitcoin logo to hash created of all transactions and signed with public key of the recipient, and recipient unlock the values using his private key. But one possible problem in this setup is that it can't be verified that a person has a double spent or not by another one. So the only way to avoid this is by using that each transaction made must be known to all the participants. And whenever a transaction is added to a block, it's maintained chronologically, and this is done with the help of a timestamp. A timestamp is a record that actually helps in identifying when a particular event occurred exactly. So when a person does double spending, the chronology of transactions is affected, and some participants may receive that person paid while some may not receive that the person isn't paid. So due to this, the Bitcoin database will not remain consistent. As we know that there is no central authority that can intervene and resolve this issue, the thumb rule for each participant is to accept whichever transaction happened earlier, and that one must be included in their ledger. If more than 51% of the entire ledger says that a person was paid before anyone else, then the entire Bitcoin will accept this transaction. But if this is otherwise, then that person will not be considered to have received the Bitcoin. This is how Bitcoin eliminates the double spending problem. And if a person receives a Bitcoin at any time, that particular entity is not considered as spendable from that particular instant. The network has to look at if the majority of participants have accepted a particular transaction or not. So what happens with the participants who have the wrong transaction listed in the ledger? The idea is that a participant will always store all the needs like records, right or wrong, in its database. This is where a chain separates within a blockchain. One is correct and the other one is wrong. From here on, if a new transaction comes in, each participant will store it in a respective branch of chain. The correct branch can be identified with the help of a timestamp. Only when one of the branches keeps on growing swiftly because the majority of the network is favoring that particular branch of the chain, then the entire network reaches a consensus that the shorter chain is obsolete and hence cannot be used. And coming to mining and puzzles, there are two types of users in Bitcoin network. There's a normal user and a miner. A normal user is a person who sells or buys bitcoins, or the one who creates transactions. A miner whose job is to validate transactions. And each transaction is stored as a hash value in the Bitcoin network. Miners make use of this nonce. Yeah, we have discussed the nonce. It is can be a number that can only be used once to find predefined hash value. For this, they have to expend a lot of CPU power to find the correct nonce value. After reaching the nonce value, this block of transactions is added to the chain. This kind of setup is required because to generate a proof of work, it means for a transaction to be added, multiple CPUs are used for a good amount of time, and this suggests that if an attacker wants to change any transaction, they will have to redo the entire thing along with the subsequent blocks added. And mining valuable work. A Bitcoin too has to be mined by putting in a lot of electricity and power, CPU power. As multiple blocks are added, the complexity of the puzzle increases. And coming to the digital ownership, yeah, this it is one of the applications of blockchain. Uh, Digital ownership means once data is recorded onto a blockchain, it's almost impossible to edit it. Blockchain is made public for reading that anyone can check the credibility of the content, and so it reduces the paperwork. That's it.